What's good? Now that I've covered the general gear progression guide and evasion versus DR topics for Sork, now I can get straight into the final piece of it all, which is the offensive build guide with your weapons and accessories at entry hard cap level. In this video, I'll be showing you different ways you can build your weapons and accessories revolving around your accuracy level. And because we can see the accuracy level, it'll be easier to showcase something I didn't mention in my last video, which was the accuracy difference when building full DR or full evasion. And of course, this will be a succession based build that is centered around the main hand and awakening weapon built a certain way because of that. Otherwise, it shouldn't be too hard to translate and change your weapon setup to match your awakening build. Outside of that, let's go ahead and get straight into one of our variant builds. Since I'll be showcasing a lot of different builds, I'll be using a full DR build to try to get the most accuracy we can with just base pen DR build and with no Kaffras into them. As I said before, DR build gives you more accuracy than evasion builds, and you'll see the number difference once we compare the two. And just one last thing that is also important, this BDO planner will be using level 62 stats with full 4 journal complete for AP and DP gain, and on top of that, here are the crystals I'll be using as well. The usual Kaiju stamina crystal build with the best in slots for the important pieces. I'll even put a fiery dandy to add those 2 crystal slots, since at this point it would be a great time to have that along with your fiery offhand. So in this build we have our standard entry hardcap build, pen DR gear with standard AP build. TED distortions of course will always be a staple at this point, being that the insane AP it gives you is way too good to pass up, and it also helps a lot when compensating for accuracy builds that lessen your AP too. I honestly don't think dawn earrings are the wave nor the recommended, maybe at best one dawn earring, but with how great the accuracy accessories are in other slots, distortion's job are to give you lots of AP to afford accuracy builds in the first place, on top of being able to afford the DP loss at full pen armors as well. Then of course we have our new favorite and upgraded TET belt, the Toros Belt. The AP loss is very minuscule compared to the accuracy it offers you, and for our standard ogre ring for your necklace, nothing fancy about this one. Then the TET Tungrad rings to clutch out 2 AP totals, since Tungrad rings give out 1 AP more than your standard TET crescents. Now let's take a look at our weapons. As I mentioned before, this will be succession based, which means as succession, all you have to do is put your dandy to try and Kaffras it up to C19 for a decent amount of accuracy gain. And in this build, we'll be using the TET Blackstar manhand along with the fiery pen Nuver for all out AP stats. If you're awakening in this instance, you'd have to reverse this to a Blackstar awakening at TET with pen Kazarka, or instead just the pen Kazarka but pen dandy at C11. Whichever is your pick, unless you want the Blackstar manhand and awakening. Pretty much your preference. To give a brief summary of this build, we just have the 1 accuracy belt, and the rest of our weapons and accessories will be standard AP focus for the juicy 297 AP bracket. For this build, you'll be just about 447 accuracy, which is pretty decent for an all-out AP build. I've already given a summary of the accuracy tier list. I'd say 400 accuracy is minimum for most of the players we'll be facing in game, while 450 is great for the above average player base. Once you get to 500 accuracy and especially 550 accuracy, that's when you get the big boy accuracy point, where you can actually touch and damage most top players with insane DP, DR, and evasion. And of course, anything 600 or more accuracy is godlike, but overkill for most players unless you are fighting specifically full pen C20 endgame players or pure DP evasion shies that are beyond tanky. Otherwise, 550 accuracy is like a pretty good place to strive for. Now that's not to say 350 isn't solid either. You'll just lack a little bit when grinding higher spots or fighting certain players. So 400 is definitely a great place to be at and start your accuracy journey. So to sum up this build, standard AP route with accuracy belt that gives you damn near 450 accuracy, pretty solid all around the board, and is great mostly against non-evasion and DP heavy players. Now let's say if you were to go down this path and to progress it even further, you actually have the option to upgrade your ring and necklace into the moonlit or starlit versions by grinding out the new Elvia spots to craft this shit. It either gives you HP bonus or crit damage bonus. So this would be an option for you guys who have this build and would like to upgrade to these pieces. You can do the same with the ominous rings and several other pieces as well. If you want more coverage, you'll have to check out BDO's March 3rd patch note. Now we have the next build where you instead have the fiery Kudum for your offhand. This will have your AP to the 281 bracket, but is only shy of 1 AP to meet that 285 bracket. You can reach that only by messing with your Kaffras and your Kudum. I will say at this time this video is being made, word on the street has been in the near future, we'll be getting an additional 1 AP and 1 DP for free. Or maybe not for free, I'm sure you have to have some base requirements, but essentially all these builds that may be 1 AP off of the bracket, after the update gives us all 1 extra AP and DP, that will complete the bracket goal by then. So if you pursue this version of your gear, you should have acquired that free AP to make your 284 a 285. So this build indeed works if we count that extra AP added in the near future. Summary of this build is just the Kudum version of what we had previously, since we also get that extra 1 DP, so our 340 will become 341 in the future for the 341 bracket. Basically, that extra AP and DP saves this build and bumps it up by both by 1 to reach those critical brackets. And with this build, we would have 460 accuracy. It's not too much of a bump from the previous 447 accuracy, but it's enough to make a difference and to give us more DP in the process. Preferably, I would have just had both the Kudum maneuver for PvP and PvE. And here's what the build would look like if we added in the accuracy offhand at pen C19. This will drop us down to exactly 269 bracket at least, but would give us plenty of DP in return, which is also 259 DP bracket exactly. The accuracy here would be 555. Of course, this is a gigantic leap, but consider this. This offhand at pen C19 is made to be the accuracy focused weapon that lowers your AP in return for ridiculous accuracy gain. Truth be told, if you are dealing with very evasion heavy or tanky players with naturally high DP, DR, and evasion, this accuracy offhand just might do the trick as a tank killer. As long as you have 269 AP bracket, preferably the 550 will compensate and allow you to damage players you couldn't have before. The absolute lowest you can go for accuracy gain would be 265 AP in my opinion. Anything below that for accuracy gain may not be worth it in my opinion. Different classes may vary, but since this is Sorc, I definitely don't recommend anything lower than 265. You don't want to nuke your AP too much for a lot of accuracy that may not have the proper AP minimum to back it up. So just by adding this offhand, you allow yourself the option to be a tank killer and handle very turtle-like gear. Next up, we have the accuracy necklace variant at TET. This will put us at the 293 bracket with 469 accuracy. Not bad considering you're at a very high bracket choice with basically 470 accuracy. Not too far off from 500. A solid choice for good AP and good accuracy altogether. Then we'll see what a Kudum in this build would look like. 281 bracket exactly with 340 DP. Missing that 1 extra DP will soon to make it a 341. The accuracy we will have here is 482. Barely 13 accuracy increase in this case for mostly the DP increase. Personally, at this point, I'd probably keep the Nuver over the Kudum here, but it's all preference and dependent on your goal and what you plan to do in the game. Now let's bump up the AP game. Let's jump from a TET Black Star into a Kazarka pen at C11. And this build with Kudum and accuracy neck. We'll be at the 285 bracket with still the 340 plus the 1 extra DP for 341. The accuracy here, however, will be 489. Not much of a jump between the Kazarka and Black Star, but more of an AP bracket jump than anything. Now let's say if we were to make this into a fiery Nuver instead. Now this version will put us up at 299 AP for the 297 bracket. Unless you were to count the extra AP for 300, then adding a lot more Kafras to the Kazarka Nuver for 301, you'd basically have the 297 bracket. The accuracy here will be 476. Not entirely a bad amount of accuracy for the huge amounts of AP we get here. Then of course, if we were to throw in the accuracy offhand, we would be at the 269 bracket after the extra AP just 1 off from the next bracket. But at the very least, we'll be at the 359 DP bracket exactly, plus that 1 extra DP. And the accuracy here will be a nasty 584. Damn near 600. So once again, for being at the 269 bracket, that 584 actually is going to sting some players and shred evasions like butter. Definitely a solid amount of accuracy, if not the most you'll need unless you want to push more. Since this is purely the tank killer offhand build, it's only meant as just that and nothing more. So the accuracy offhand, unless you consistently deal with evasion players or very tanky players, this is just an option and not really a permanent build. Then for our next build, we'll be doing the ominous rings for more accuracy on top of our fiery Nuver for more AP. This will put us exactly at the 293 AP bracket, along with our accuracy being 504. This is probably my favorite build and one that I want to reach myself. Having 293 AP with at least 500 accuracy is no joke. It's in my opinion the best spot to be in for both AP and accuracy without having to do Kudum or actually offhand. I personally like having lots of AP to burst and kill as an assassin while also having stupid crazy accuracy for those tankier than average players. But overall, this is a really good build in my opinion, aside of not having that much DP, which can be fixed with more more Caphras into your armors. This build looks juicy. Best of both worlds in AP and accuracy. You can't go wrong with this build. Then for educational purposes, let's see what happens if we add a accuracy offhand to this build. We'll be sitting at 265 AP with a whopping 612 accuracy. Once again, there is such thing as an accuracy overkill if you are not fighting the necessary players with that much gear. In fact, if you had this accuracy against lower tier people, you wouldn't do that much damage as you would with pure AP that their gear wouldn't be able to withstand. It's kind of like a scale, but that's why I like the 293 AP version, since that's enough AP for most players, and the 500 accuracy should help out a lot with anyone. In this case, the 600 accuracy would be overkill against certain targets, but just might be right for the very giga tanked evasion targets, or even high DP with evasion scaling. Either way, it's just an option. Now, another playtest we can do with our build would be a Pen Black Star. Now, the reason why we go from Tep Black Star to Pen Kazarka up to C11 plus is because you can't Caphras your Black Star, and you can't really progress from your Tep Black Star unless you actually get a Pen Black Star. And we all know how hard and sometimes overly ambitious that is. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you get it, that's a 100% win and is on par with like a Kazarka C20. And that's C20 that most people don't get in the first place because of how long the Caphras grind is. But for this example build, if you so happen to get a Pen Black Star into this build, you'll be at exactly 297 bracket with 509 accuracy. Not really an accuracy increase, but more of an AP bracket jump. Still pretty crazy if you do somehow get a Pen Black Star. Otherwise, I'd stick to reaching that Kazarka C11. Now let's go ahead and see what difference having DR and evasion armor looks like. We'll use the 293 AP with 500 accuracy build to see how far it drops down to. Here, of course, the AP stays the same because your armors don't really affect those, and only the accuracy and other small things. Now the accuracy with this build on evasion is going to be 479. So roughly anywhere from 20 to 30 accuracy loss. For some people, that's a lot. For some, they see that as worth if they have a lot of evasion built in to compensate. Of course, this is with a lot of accuracy accessories, so this is the most they can do to compensate for the most part. But here you can definitely see the visual difference between full DR and full evasion. But of course, no matter what offensive build you go, you'll always lose that amount of accuracy and generally just accept the fact of lower accuracy overall. More accuracy means more damage, so that's why you oftentimes hear people say DR does more damage. It essentially means it gives you more accuracy. Now, if you were to theory craft pen gear, you essentially just pen the offensive builds I showcased more or less. One thing I didn't show was the Deboreka necklace that currently best in slot overall for AP. A piece of necklace at Tet that's equal to a Pen Ogre, or at least 1 AP off, is pretty damn good. Otherwise, there's not much else you can do to get spicy with your offensive builds. Maybe at best 1 Ominous Ring, 1 Tet Tungrad Ring with whatever else you plan to try out. Maybe the 1 Distortion Dawn if you really wanted to, but I don't think it's actually necessary. But those are some good builds and examples of what you could do at entry hardcap. I'm sure there are other builds you can do that also work, but also have to methodize it to make sense and have a solid purpose for full AP, full accuracy, or half and half like the 293 AP with 500 accuracy. Outside of that, hopefully they'll give you guys an idea of what you can build if you get to this stage in the game. The main reason why I actually used a Fiery Maneuver instead of Kudum is because of 2 reasons. One, I as an assassin would much rather prioritize more AP to kill my targets than more DP with little extra accuracy. The accuracy on Kudum isn't that big of a deal to me personally, and the DP gain is not a goal of mine either. Assuming I have, pen armor pieces, my DP should be solid enough. And if I actually wanted accuracy, I can always go the accuracy build with full power Maneuver in Kazarka to compensate for AP. To me, it makes the most sense to do that, but each to their own. And at the end of the day, it is your build, and what you build represents how you play and what you plan on doing in the game. So that being said, that's a list of different builds you can do for yourself. As always, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Tell me which build is your favorite, or what build you plan on tackling in the future, or even if you have your own build idea, let me know as well. I think that should wrap up the overall gear guide for now, until things change or other specific topics may come into play. Otherwise, as always, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.